what are you doing for yourself? As a tattooer, what are you doing for yourself? Why are you leaving it on the shop to make money? You are technically an independent contractor in most states. What's up, guys? It's Adam Facenda from Anchors and Eagles, and here's another episode. This is episode 7. I want to do something a little bit different this time. I guess we're always going to make them different, right? So my last one I made was about how to get into tattooing, and there's been a lot of stuff on the Instagram out there in the Instagram world that everyone's like talking about, like how to get more business and, you know, cutting prices and stuff like that. I want to touch on that. How do you make money during a slow season? Now, right now, we're in a terrible economy, and myself, I've been through this a few times, and it's about, I hate saying this, pulling up your bootstraps and getting to work. Whether you're a shop owner or a tattooer, I feel that there's a great amount of this community that thinks, well, I finished my apprenticeship, where's all the tattoos? Why am I not making $1 million right now? I've had this with some of my apprentices that I've taught myself, and others that were just, you know, even my brother would used to say to me all the time, I'll never make $1,000 in 1 week. And I would laugh at him because he started tattooing in a very slow time of the year. I say, okay. And then after that, every check I gave him that was over $1,000, I'd always say the same thing. I'll never make $1,000 a week. Now, I know you guys are thinking, well, that's not a lot of money, right? It's only $52,000 a year. Well, that was also 15, 16 years ago. So yes, everything has gone up in price, but I feel that it's still the same, right? So whether you're someone that has started a new shop, or you're just in this industry, or you're a person that has been in this industry for a while and own a shop for a while, I want to touch base on those type of business owners or people. Let's start with this. Let's start with who I am. Right? Second generation tattooer. I've been tattooing since 2001. And I've seen a lot of ups and downs. You know, I started my career as a piercer, then moved into tattooing. So I was very fortunate. I was very smart. This was very calculated. All my whole career was always being calculated. I knew if I became a piercer, I could be in a shop, and it would just take me time before I get the chance to learn how to tattoo. Also, I'd be making money in between. So a lot of people that come into an apprenticeship, they think they should be paid for an apprenticeship, and you're being paid with knowledge. That's one thing no one can take away from you. Once you learn something, you own it forever. So if someone's giving you some knowledge, absorb it, even if it's the craziest thing. I used to tattoo with a guy named Chicago Bill, and Bill would say, be a sponge, you know, and I started to really understand what he meant. And I use it to this day. A sponge, you can take it out of the water, but it's going to retain all the amount of water it needs to survive. And here's the thing is you can keep absorbing water, bringing it out, absorbing water, bringing it out. So when you're learning stuff in your career, whether you're a business owner or whatever you're doing, absorb what other people have to say, even if they're doing something that sounds completely ridiculous. I've often said you can learn something from the worst tattooer, and you can learn something from the worst business owner. And that's the things not to do. Let me go back to where I was starting. So I got into this industry as a piercer. I was able to work in a tattoo shop, make money, and my mentors saw how hard I was working. But it was really another tattooer that said to my mentor, hey, why don't you give Adam a shot at an apprenticeship? And he didn't really want to teach anyone how to tattoo. He just taught some other guys a few seasons back. And he's like, Adam's in the shop all the time. He's drawing our tattoos. He's selling our tattoos. He's cleaning the shop. Like, if anyone deserves it, it's this guy, Adam. And that was what I was told through my piercing apprenticeship. Listen, there's a couple things you can do. You can fight the guy that owns the shop and not do what he says, or you can just do it and never have an argument with him. And it actually played in my favor, because when this gentleman, what was his name? When Sean spoke to Eric, my mentor, he said, you know, this guy is like solid, man. Like, you know, a bunch of people come in and out of the shop, but this dude is here. He doesn't leave the shop 24/7. Like, he'll be here. At that time, I was working from 10 a.m. to 2 a.m., 90 days straight. I wouldn't even take a day off. I had no life. But to me, you couldn't pry me out of a tattoo shop. I mean, my whole life, I wanted to work in a tattoo shop. My father was a tattooer. This is where I wanted to be. You can't chase me out of here. I got to the point where they actually had to chase me out of there. That's for another time and another story. But my energy that I put into just being a piercer, going through the apprenticeship, cleaning the shop, and doing all that stuff, I knew I was gaining something. I knew if I had to leave that shop, I had something that there was no way they could take away from me. There was no way they could go into my brain and extract the things that I was learning. So when I was offered the position to become a tattoo apprentice, I didn't even have to think, man, am I going to get paid for this? I already went through a piercing apprenticeship. Your payment during an apprenticeship is the knowledge that you're receiving. And it's up to you what you do with that knowledge. Myself, I've created multiple shops, taught multiple artists. There's so many things I've done in my career just because I took the opportunity to take a knee on making money or expecting to be paid for an apprenticeship. That never crossed my mind. And it blows my mind that I read some people that are out there making comments and making posts that I should get paid. Like, this is ridiculous. You're so short-sighted in what you're saying. It's ridiculous. I should be being paid to be taught. You pay thousands and thousands of dollars to go to trade schools, colleges, and stuff like that, and you're still not even guaranteed a job. With an apprenticeship, you're guaranteed a job. What are you thinking? It's the most ungrateful generation of tattooers I've ever seen in my life. Now, I shouldn't say that. I mean, there's a lot of really grateful tattooers out there, and you know what? I've watched them be so grateful and turn themselves into such amazing tattooers and amazing business people and just out-of-the-box thinkers. So I shouldn't generalize that, right? But to be honest with you, that's what's sticking out in my mind. When I see something on an Instagram post or even anywhere somebody's posting something, threads or whatever, it just really irks me. Like, how entitled are you? You think someone owes you something. They owe you because they're giving you knowledge. It's up to them whether or not they want to give you this knowledge. They have no obligation to teach anyone in the world. I have no obligation to teach anybody how to tattoo, pierce, run a business, or anything like that. I do it because I want to be a teacher. I have been a teacher, my therapist, and I just had this conversation about me being a teacher. And it's hard for me to break away from that, and I still want to be a student. I'm still a student of life. So whenever somebody says something about business, whether it's right or wrong, I always listen. So listen now, it's slow. And there's multiple people out there in this industry, in our industry, the tattoo industry, and I would say across the board, anyone owning a business right now, it's slow. Your first thing that people do is they usually cut their expenses with advertising, which to me is the one thing that's bringing you clients, you're going to stop first. So first off, get that out of your mind. You don't want to stop advertising. You do want to start advertising. In this slow time, you should really start paying attention on how to advertise. I have a friend named Todd Collins, amazing dude. You guys should follow him on Instagram, reach out to him. He and I have been friends for years now. I used to spend money on these companies. These guys are like, hey, you can listen to me. You'll make $1 million. Listen to me. I'll show you how to market. Listen to me. And literally, Todd gives it away for free. I'm a huge fan of Gary Vee. So if you guys can digest that much content, because he makes so much of it, it's really worthwhile. But Todd Collins is a straight shooter. The problem with Gary Vee is he's always said that he can't help tattoo shops out. With Todd and I explained to him that, and he's like, yeah, it seems like a different animal. He was more in restaurants and stuff like that at the time. But we and him talked, and I gave him like what I do, and he was pretty impressed with what I did at the time. And we went back and forth, and now he understands this industry a lot more. And by the way, the guy's super rad, does jiu-jitsu, has a full family, takes care of them, spends time with them, and makes content like crazy. Pretty funny stuff too. So I love you, Todd. Hopefully you catch this episode, but I'll be reaching out to you anyway because I want to do more for this industry. So Todd and I talked about that. When you stop advertising, you're going to stop the funnel of business coming through the door. You want to make sure that there's always constantly somebody coming through your front door, but never forget the ones that have already come through your front door. I saw someone making a comment just recently on a post. It was actually a video. I forget the gentleman's name, but he was saying something to the effect of when you give deals away to the public, how does that make your old clientele feel? I'm a firm believer in that. Like I know when shops are hurting and the businesses are hurting because they start doing a bunch of crazy deals. And in my head, I'm like, you're really worth more than giving away a tattoo or doing a tattoo contest and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, I will do it, but there's a different way how I do things, and there's a reason why I do things. And I still keep some of these secrets to myself. But it does say something to your existing clientele when you're working on a big piece and this guy or this girl that you're working on sees this post, like you're going to do a deal, you're normally $200 an hour or $250 or $100, whatever you're at. And now you're going to give away these tattoos at like half. How does that make your old client feel? I mean, They've dedicated time, hours with their arm or their back or all these large pieces. They've given you, forked over tons and tons of money for your art, and it's totally worth every dollar of it. So why does the next guy get a discount? I'm going to say this. If you're going to make discounts or try to give away tattoos or give away your time, instead of making an advertisement towards the entire Instagram universe to these strangers that you've never met before in your life, start engaging with your clients that you've already started tattooing. Reach out to them. Honestly, I would reach out to somebody that has something unfinished by you before I'd even reach out to people that are strangers to you. I know we talked about advertising and new clients, but that advertisement is made for those new clients. You also have to think, man, these other clients have been with me 23 years. Some of my clients come to me after 23 years, and it's such an honor. I try to reach out to them and give them deals first, explaining to them like, hey, listen, I know it's tough times, but right now we have that unfinished tattoo. I'd love to hook it up. I would love to just have it in my portfolio. Anytime you're sitting around doing nothing in a tattoo shop, you're making no dollars. Why wouldn't you want somebody in your chair? I mean, I know another gentleman named Gino, and I'm going to blow him up right now. He crushes it. My brother from another mother. This guy and I literally started tattooing with the same tattoo machine when we were kids, when we shouldn't have been touching a tattoo machine. And he and I went down the same path of becoming tattoo artists, owning shops and stuff like that. And an artist that works with me explained to me how Gino's theory, if his chair is empty, he doesn't care. He'll do whatever he needs to put somebody in his chair, even if it is hooking somebody up until somebody walks in the front door and wants to get tattooed. And he lets those clients know that I'm hooking you up now, but if something bigger comes in, I'm kicking you out of the chair. That could be 10 minutes. It could be 5 hours. And I think that's a beautiful model of someone that is out there to hustle and stay busy and not bitch and complain that there's no business and the shop's not doing anything for me, et cetera, et cetera. What are you doing for yourself? As a tattooer, what are you doing for yourself? Why are you leaving it on the shop to make money? You are technically an independent contractor in most states working under the roof of another business. There is no reason for you to be slow and depend on somebody else. The only one you can depend on is yourself in any situation. I know that that's very harsh to say. You want to depend on other people, but at the end of the day, you come into this world by yourself, you go out of this world by yourself. Business is the same way. You either survive or you decay. That's it. Those are the two things. You have to put your own energy into your craft, right? You're hustling, learning how to tattoo and make the best tattoos. And then you're going to get to this level where you think you're really, really worth some money. And now you're going to give away tattoos to complete strangers when your loyal clients have been out there forever. Reach out to your clients. Reach out to them, whether you've been tattooing 6 months, 6 years, 20 years, just reach out to them. Hey, I hope everything's cool. How are you doing? Just make conversation. I mean, at some point, some of these clients are becoming your friends. So why not just see how they're doing? Because we're all doing the same. We're all trying to survive. We're all trying to make money. We're all trying to get ahead. Sometimes when you reach out to a client, they've already been thinking, man, I really want to get tattooed. And you can bring it up then like, hey, you really been wanting to get tattooed. I got nothing going on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. And I mean, this plays throughout your year. I mean, everyone has their slow days, right? Everyone has that one day that, they just can't fill up. So why aren't you hooking up somebody to come in on that slow day? You're sitting in a tattoo shop. Why don't you want to make money? There's no one in your chair. Put someone in your chair. I tell this to everyone that works with me. And whether they follow through or not, that's on them. At the end of the day, I'm here to provide a space for them to make great tattoos and do their own business in their own time in their own space that I provide for them. I do spend a lot of money on advertisements. I do work a lot on Instagram. I do a lot of work for my artists. But if a shop owner like myself or a business owner like myself is doing so much work to get those asses in those chairs, why would one of the artists that works with me feel that that's all they have to do? When an artist complains that, it's slow and I see them sitting around doing nothing, literally nothing, maybe finger fucking their phone, looking at Instagram instead of making posts, it doesn't necessarily upset me to the point where I won't get angry. It used to. But now I just look at them and say, well, I guess they don't want to make money. And that's how I go about it now. Now, the ones that are in my shop, that are busting their asses and are listening to me, are starting to really start to thrive, doing numbers that make no sense while everybody else is in the shop kind of not making what they used to make. Of course not. It's slow. It's the slow season. The economy is a little wacky. First step, reach out to your old clients. Anything unfinished, really good clients that you're just like having a good time with, offer them a deal. Why would you want to sit around on a Wednesday doing nothing, a Tuesday doing nothing? Hopefully you're not sitting around on a Saturday doing nothing. Give them the offer first before making some crazy post. So that's the first thing I would do in making money during the slow time. Okay, number 2. Once again, these all go for anyone that has been in the industry 6 months to 6 years to 16 years. If you're not involved in understanding Instagram and just simply making posts, something I learned from the Gary Vee book that just came out is learn all the tools that they have. I will say, I've really stepped back on learning everything about all these different platforms. If it's Instagram, Twitter, whatever social media platform you're on, even Facebook, just learn all the tools. As they're making tools, mind you, this is from Gary Vee, this isn't me. As they're making new tools, it's because this platform wants you to use it and they reward you by helping you with your algorithm. It only makes sense, like I really want you to use this. And if you use this, I'm going to give you a little bonus. And the bonus is getting more likes, getting more traffic to your social media profiles. In your downtime, when it's slow, try something new. Go and watch videos on how to create better content. I know that's really a struggle, and I'm from a generation that we didn't even have social media. We actually had to go out and spend money and meet people. So our advertising dollars were going out to bars, going out to concerts, going out to restaurants, going to social environments. And I also feel that nowadays a lot of people aren't as social. I'm even more antisocial than I was back when I was a kid. I actually had to drink a lot in order to go out and be social. I loved being social, but I was totally getting hammered the whole time. But for my generation, we had to go out and we had to go and meet people. And I mean, I remember my best part of advertising that I could do was sitting out front of the shop and saying hello to people. I was fortunate to work on Fort Lauderdale Beach back in 2001, and people just walk by, and a simple hello would help me create a new client almost right there on the spot. So with social media, I think what's great about that is for us antisocial people and even social people, you have a chance to be able to hit so many people's interests all at one time by creating a video, by creating some content, by just literally speaking into a camera. I know that, and most of you guys will know on any social media, back before there was a bunch of videos and stuff like that, and I think it still applies to this now, showing your face as the business owner or as a tattooer in a video, you're going to see more gravity towards that post. Look at your Instagram. Back before there was a bunch of reels and videos and all that, you could post a million things of whatever product you're selling, a tattoo, food, whatever. But as soon as you showed your face, all your true fans would like it. And that's what that's about. Your true fans need to see you. And I think as a tattooer, when most people are posting a bunch of pictures and never posting their face ever, even if it's not even in their little icon or whatever for their profile, the client doesn't know what you look like. I can't tell you how many times, I used to be that guy, how many times somebody would walk into my tattoo shop and ask for Adam. Like, I'm Adam, hi, how's it going? Even that changed for me. I wanted to show my face more. And man, some people say, man, to me, my friends that hate being in front of a camera, I don't know how you do it, man. It's like you're born to be in front of the camera. Little did they know, when I first started talking in front of cameras, I would take about 60, 70 takes. And it would start off with, hi, I'm Adam Facenda from Tangible for these clients, these future clients, to see who you are. I think that helps out a lot too. But go on to these platforms. I'm doing it right now myself. Learn all the ins and outs from how the platform works, what's really trending, what's not, and explore. Who knows? You might make up into the next trend of whatever, TikTok or Instagram or whatever social media platform you're on. You never know. Try something new. You don't always have to do what the other guy is doing either. I think right now, in my opinion, all these people that are making clown videos, and what I mean by clown videos about tattooing, is actually hurting our industry more, but that's my opinion, and I'm allowed to have this opinion. When you're making a video clowning on your clients, why do you think as a client actually, I'm seeing this video and you're clowning on me when I come in? I don't know. And every one of you guys out there in the tattoo industry weren't born with all these tattoos. You had to get them one at a time. So remember how you felt when you walked into that tattoo shop and that fucking biker guy or that fucking asshole kind of looked down his nose at you and what do you want? If you're doing that and making that kind of content, that's how you're making those people feel. And it bothers me a lot. I spent a long time taking myself and the guys that I worked with and putting us at a higher standard. You gotta remember, I come from the generation right after bikers, a bunch of just drug addicts and pigs and whatnot. My mentor learned from a guy that said, you know what, we don't wear black shirts in my tattoo shop. We're not the black shirt guys. Lou made them wear colorful shirts just because he didn't want to be known as that kind of shop. He wanted to change the way people saw our industry back then. And that's in the 80s. I come in the 2000s, my mentor was telling me this. I'm a black t-shirt guy. I'm still a black t-shirt guy. But instead of changing the way my exterior looked, I try to present myself in a more professional light and more professional view for the clients that's coming in. I do talk different in front of a client versus talking in front of the people at the shop. And that's another thing. If you're tattooing and you're slow right now and you're thinking back, how could I have been better? Try that as well. Most of all, stop clowning on these clients. Stop making it look like your life is so hard because you're a tattooer and it's slow. Think about the people that are out there fucking working their asses off for a couple bucks an hour while you're charging $200 an hour. How dare you? How dare you do that to those clients? Oh, it's so slow. Poor you. You think that's going to make them want to come in and get tattooed by you? They're like, man, it takes me all week to afford a tattoo from you and you're crying about it? It makes no sense to me. So please do yourself a favor. Make good content. Make content that you would be interested in it. Stop making our industry look like a bunch of clowns. It's sad. You're destroying what so many people have worked so hard to elevate us. When I opened my first shop, you couldn't even get a shop open because they thought we were all drug addicts. And now look at this industry. A bunch of really talented kids. A bunch of young kids, super talented. Might be entitled a little bit too much, but super talented. Stop being a child. Start being a professional. Stop complaining about stuff. Stop complaining about the shop owner. Stop complaining. It's everyone else's fault. It's no one's fault but your own. Do the work. You did the work to learn how to tattoo, whether you learned on fucking YouTube or if you fucking took an apprenticeship, which I think you should do. However you did, you took the time to do that. It doesn't stop there. Once you start doing tattoos, you put that needle in that skin, you're not a tattooer. You're someone that's doing tattoos. It takes a long time to perfect the style of tattooing, and maybe even your style. And your style is going to change. You put so much energy into that. Why would you not put energy into the whole kit and caboodle? I love using that word. The thing that drives me insane with the younger generation is that they think that they've already gotten to the finish line. One piece of content isn't like winning the lottery and you'll never have to work again. You have to consistently make content. Making one design isn't going to make you $1 million. No, you're going to be making designs your whole life. Making one pizza isn't going to make you $1 million. It's going to be making many pizzas. I always use pizzas in these references. I don't know why. I guess I'm really hungry when I make these videos. But you have to think that the work is never done. So if you're coming into this industry and you're a few months in, you're like, man, I'm going to be rich. Well, I hope you are. I hope you're going to be rich. But it's not going to come without some work and a lot of sacrifice. And I mean, I've sacrificed my entire career. I sacrificed relationships with family, relationship with people that were really great. And I'm sorry I can't show up for you because, I got to do this thing. I got to make this money. I got to be better. And even to this day, I'm still constantly working on that, but it's never ending work. The guys that you guys are looking up to, that you're like, man, these tattoos are amazing. Those guys put work in. It didn't happen overnight. And when they go to sleep at night, you know what they're thinking? How can I do more tomorrow? They're not thinking, oh, I get to take next week off and, whatever comes in, comes in. The people that you're looking at have been hustling for a very long time and they haven't stopped hustling. I mean, I'm hearing stories of guys that are charging $200,000 for a tattoo session. Like, that blows my mind. Like, how? But you know what? It's not like they did the one $200,000 tattoo. We know what we're talking about. I hope you guys understand what I'm talking about. This anesthesiology and like all that stuff that people are getting knocked out to get tattooed and 6 guys are tattooing at one time. That's what I'm talking about. But those guys are not done. They didn't just do that one tattoo and it's a wrap. Now everyone's going to come to me. They're still grinding. They're still hustling. They're still doing things. And look, if you're fortunate enough to make really great money in this industry, hire someone to do your content for you. Just shoot videos and give it to someone that can mix them down. There's tons of people out there that's what they love to do. This is their passion. I've fallen in love with so many things in my time. I was a musician for a while. I worked on cars. I've been a tattooer for a really long time. I love making these videos. I love doing podcasts. I don't have enough time in my day to get through all the things I want to do. But you know what? If there's certain things that I know that someone does better, I'm going to say, hey man, how can we trade out? Literally, trade somebody out. Trade somebody out some time, your time for theirs. That's all you have to do. Ask them what their hourly is. Say, okay, cool. I'll tattoo you for X amount of time, or I'll tattoo you for this value of what you're going to work for me. There's so many ways to make great content without you even knowing how to make great content. Literally, there's so many different avenues. My third opinion on how to get better at business: get on a good regimen. I've been on them and off them. I've suffered from depression my entire life, and I try never to talk about it, but I think most people should really come out and start talking about it. And it'll be for a podcast later on that I want to make. Start doing stuff for yourself, right? So, going out and drinking at night, that's cool. You can do it. I used to do it. Wake up, go to the gym, do something positive for yourself. I personally, and now my regimen is go to the gym at 6 a.m, take the dogs to a park with my wife. After that, eat breakfast, go upstairs, make my bed, take a shower, prepare myself, get clean, put on great clothes for the day. That beginning of my day is starting me off on such a positive note. It also is kind of like a snowball effect where I'm going to slowly start growing momentum and my day's going to get larger, larger, and larger and be more fulfilling for myself. So that would be my third thing. Get in a regimen. You don't necessarily need to stop drinking or join the gym or anything like that. But your regimen should be, hey, I'm going to wake up a little bit earlier. I'm going to absorb some content. I'm going to reach out to old clients. I'm going to like old clients' social media posts. Just those little things. Reach out to my clients, answer my messages, and then think to yourself, what kind of content can I make? I took a bunch of pictures. And look, some of you guys take pictures and you put them up right away. That's great. I do it too. But if you're having a busy day, don't throw them all up at one time. Well, that's insane. Slowly release them. So that way it always looks like you're producing something. That's a huge thing. There's a couple tattooers I follow out there, and I don't remember their names because I'm really terrible. There's so many ridiculous names that are all so similar. I learned this with Keep the Fees. Sometimes I type in the wrong name whenever we're trying to tag them in a picture or something. And it's I'm not that guy. I'm this guy. There's just so many names out there. But this artist would take multiple angles of the same large tattoo and the progression. So if you're just doing outlines, I'm really bad about it too. If you're just doing outlines, take a picture of it. And then when they come in to get some shading, release the picture of the outline. So now you have the next step coming, something to look forward to. Make it intriguing. Do a video, do a carousel, whatever you want to do. But just do it. And if you're doing a bunch of tattoos in one day, don't release them all at the same time. This keeps people interested. They become a fan of you. So make this a regimen. One of my favorite tattooers that I got to work with, I should say, is Dave Koenig. Dave Koenig never stopped drawing. And that was one thing that I learned from a gentleman named Silky that he learned from Chris Garver was never stop drawing. How do you become a better tattooer? Keep drawing. I told this to Phil Shlojic. I've told this to so many different people. It's something that when I'm really into tattooing, because throughout your career, you're going to go in and out of being burnt out and not burnt out. When I'm not burnt out, I'm drawing like crazy just to be a better tattooer. And it reflects in my tattoos, that's for sure. Get that regimen down. Come in, take pictures of what you're drawing. Do a video of what you're drawing. You don't have to make content every day. Some people say you have to make it every day, but as long as you're making content and people are starting to like it, then your algorithm will boost and you'll get business from that as well. So reach out to your old clients. Make great content. Well, the best content you can. Don't stop advertising. And most of all, just get on a good regimen. So I'm going to kind of veer off right now. I've been on regimens of training early in the morning, training at night. What I mean by training, just basically lifting weights, doing cardio, stuff like that. These things that I'm doing now are setting the pace of who I want to become. I recently started reading a lot of books. I've never been a big reader of books. And I was given a book from my wife, Protect Your Peace. And man, I would say, I wish I would have started reading books when I was in high school. Now, this book wouldn't have been there at that point, but it would have opened my mind to who I could have been younger at age and who I want to be now. Crazy enough, some of this book is how I used to talk. versus I talk now. Making a decision on being a better person is only going to make you a better business person, only going to be making you a better artist, or whatever you do, whether you make pizza, sell cars, anything like that. Try working on yourself in the slow time. The slow time is exactly that, the time for you to take a step back and pace yourself in what you're doing with your life, whether you're tattooing, running a business, your relationships, stuff like that. Take the time to invest in yourself. I know we have to pay our bills, right? I'm right there with you. I got a lot of bills. You got to take time to pay your bills, right? And that time means to whatever you're doing, selling something, doing tattoos. But if you're in a bad mindset as a tattooer, I think that's like the worst thing you could be in, because you're not going to produce something you like. Then it's kind of defeating at the same time. Like, you're trying to produce something that you really love doing, but your mind is in such a funk that you're thinking about 10 different things. And when you go take the picture of the tattoo and you're like, what the fuck did I just do? I missed this line, or shit, they shaded that better. I've done this tattoo before. Why did I do it this way? It's because your mind is somewhere else. It's easier said than done. It starts with little changes in your life. I'm making those changes, and I'm trying to do it for the better of myself, and trying a new thing with creating boundaries for people, which people are not used to that with me. I kind of just give, and try to be there for everybody. In my whole life, I've always been there for others and never really there for me. The only time I'm ever there for me is when I was training when I was a kid. So now I'm back to looking at what I'm doing as investing in myself. And if everybody just took this time when it's slow to invest in themselves, and I mean, really, a walk in the park is free. If you're dealing with monetary issues where you can't go out and go do things, and that's what made you happy, there's so many free things to do out there that are better for yourself. So many. Personally, my gym costs $20 a month. And guess what? I can go there every day, all day if I wanted to. And it's a healthy thing for me. It's not a terrible thing for me. And as long as my ego doesn't get in the way of me, I'm golden. And those of you guys that lift weights understand what I mean. Ego lifting, it's an alpha thing. It happens when you're in a gym and you see some young buck out there lifting what you used to lift, and you're like, I can do that. That's the hardest part of me going to a gym right now. It's $20 a month. Shit, there's gyms out there that are $10 a month. And this is just a suggestion. You know what I mean? Like, you can do anything. Take your dog for a walk. Go for a walk with your friends. Go ride a bicycle. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many different things you can do. This whole podcast, I wanted to try to get through to you guys about how you can do more business during the slow season, or a slow time, or an economy that's not doing so well. If you feel like it's time to give up, please don't. What I said is just how I feel. If you're thinking about giving up tattooing or giving up your business, there is a time to tap out. I will say that. I mean, I've closed the shop just in this past year because it was not doing what it needed to do. Now I'm very happy that I've condensed down to one business. And of course I still keep the fees, but most of all, I'm taking more time for myself to zoom out and look about what's the priorities for me. My priorities right now are myself first, my relationship second, and then everything else after. So, and I should say relationships, because relationship with my dog, my relationship with my daughter, I want to be better with. So the end of this all is take some consideration of what I've said, try to apply it to your life, and let's see what happens. And if you have any comments and you want to argue with me, I love arguing with people, so that's awesome. Or if you just want to give some tips on how you handle your slow season, please put this in the content below, make a comment, whatever. So let's wrap this up. Thank you guys for listening or tuning in to Anchors and Eagles with Adam Facenda. And please do yourself a favor, invest in you first, then your business.